Hello and welcome back. In this section of the course, we're going to talk a little bit about security. In the first lesson, we're going to talk why security is important for your WordPress powered websites. And in the second lesson, we're going to look at some of the preventive measures that you can take uh, for your website so that hackers won't be able to get into your website. So let's begin. Why security? If you take the World Wide Web, around 25% of the web is made out of WordPress. So if that is the loophole, it's going to be very easy for the hackers to exploit that loophole and get into 25% of the World Wide Web. So it's very huge, right? None of the platforms owns this much of share in the World Wide Web. So this is why you need to be careful when installing WordPress. And you should not be waiting till the last moment, because once a disaster happens, it's going to be very difficult to recover. So you need to always take preventive measures that we will discuss in the next lesson. So you might wonder, why on earth hackers would target my site? I have not done anything to anybody. So it doesn't matter. Hackers are that way. Some people are just pure evil. They do it just for fun. They will not have any gain, but they will just do it for fun. And some hackers will do it for financial gain. And they might take some information from your website, they will demand for more money. And some other hackers would insert or inject malicious software into your website, which can spy on the visitors of your website, which is not good at all. And some hackers would actually redirect the traffic from your website to their website. Again, that's going to be very bad. So if your site is hacked, Google is obviously going to penalize you. And what it's going to do is it's going to remove all the site links that it has indexed in their site, and you will gonna get very less hit from the Google, and you will be completely removed from Google, and you will have no search engine optimized result for your website. That's bad. And if the site is found to be inserted or injected with malicious software, the Google Chrome is going to throw an error and says the site you are trying to access has malicious software installed. Do not go proceed to that website. So that means all your hard work and investment and all the money you spent on the website is going to go nowhere. So it's very necessary that you take preventive measures. Sometimes even after doing everything, a hacker might find another loophole to get into the WordPress website. That's why WordPress always keep on pushing new updates with security patches. But that doesn't mean that you should give up. Let's not give up easily. Let's put up a fight with the hacker before going down. So that is it for this lesson, and I'll see you back in the next lesson, and we'll talk about some of the preventive measures that we can take to take so that our site will not be hacked. And before starting the next lesson, I highly suggest you take a piece of paper and a pen. So that is it all for this lesson, and I'll see you back in the next lesson. Bye for now. Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, I actually thought to talk a little bit about WordPress security. So keep a pencil and paper, or you can take notes in a notepad or whatever the app you are using. And because this lesson is going to go for a while, and we're going to talk a little bit of things, so I don't want to miss out. I don't want you to forget things right after finishing this lesson. So take a pencil and paper and take notes while I go through this lesson. So it's very important that you keep your WordPress website secured. You don't want your personal information or your customers' personal information out there on the internet taken out by the hackers. So let's go through some of the basic things that you can do to improve the security of your WordPress website without going deep into the technical stuff. First thing first, password. You should have a proper password. Don't use easy passwords like abcd at 123 or hello at 223, or those kind of simple passwords don't use. And also make sure your password never contains your pet's name, your spouse name, your kid's name, your parents name. No, never. Because when hackers are going to guess passwords, it's going to be very easy for them. Say for example, if they figure out your Facebook account, they can come there and they can get your kid's name, your wife's name. They can simply use it to hack into your website. So don't use your pet's name, spouse names, or kids names, or parents name, or any relative's name in that case in your password. Use complicated yet easy to remember password. Sometimes you can create password like QWDFGH hash hash at asterisk comma bracket. You can put all this stuff, but at the end of the day, if you can't remember it, that's going to be very difficult. So use complicated yet easy to remember password which cannot be guessed by others. So here's some hints to create an ideal password. An ideal password should have 8 characters, and you should use both capital and small letters. And please make use of special characters such as @ hash sign, $sign, ampersand sign, asterisk, those kind of things, and also use some numbers. So an ideal password, in my experience, an ideal password would be 8 to 12 characters. You can use external password generators. There are many websites that can help you to generate passwords, so you can use them as well. If your password is very lengthy and you have a reason to keep your administrative password very secure, then I would say go for it. Go and create a very complex password that cannot be remembered by anybody, any human being, and you can use third-party services like LastPass to save them. So it will be in those cloud services secure. Whenever you want, you can simply invoke it and get the password and use it in your service. So you don't have to put it in your head. You can put it in a very secured cloud server. So check out LastPass. Probably you need to take a note of it because that's going to be a homework. Just after finishing this lesson, go to LastPass and check what is it about. The second thing, stay up to date. Whenever there is a WordPress update, please update your blog or your website. Whenever there is a plugin update, whenever there is a theme update, always update. The updates are usually given to match the latest trends and to fix any existing vulnerabilities in these platforms. Say for an example, say WordPress team found that there is a loophole in their system that hackers can actually get access to your database and manipulate data. You don't want that to happen, right? So in that case, what WordPress would do is they will fix that hole and they will patch it up and they will push a new update. And if you are not updating your WordPress and you are using the version that was released back in 3 years, then hackers are going to come to your website and they're going to check what is the version of your version of the WordPress that you're using. When they find out that you're using a WordPress version that was released 3 years back, they will go back to other sites and see for this old version, what is the loophole, how to get into the website. And there are many hacker websites that will provide resources for this specific version of the WordPress. This is how you need to hack. So they will use those resources and they will hack into your system. So you don't want to be a victim. So please always update your WordPress, core WordPress site and the plugins, themes, everything. Whenever there is an update, make sure you update it. Third, plugins. I know there is thousands and thousands of plugins out there, but please don't install everything because these plugins may bring in unnecessary malicious stuff into your website. So only use plugins released by reputed companies whenever possible. When there is no other option, you may have to go for some free options, but whenever possible, always go for a plugins released by a reputable company or the plugins that is being used by many people and which is already used by the community. The second thing is make use of Jetpack. Jetpack is actually released by Automatic, which is the company doing the WordPress development. They have this the third-party service named Jetpack, and if you install it, it's going to bring in so many features that you need to that you don't have to install other plugins. So for an example, you can use stats, spam control, automatic backup, social media sharing, integration with WordPress.com, and security enhancement. All these features are packed into a single plugin. So I highly suggest you go back to jetpack.com/features to check out the features that you can get out of Jetpack. Again, note it down. You're going to do this homework. Next thing, web host. I know there are again hundreds and hundreds of web hosts available. Always go for a reputed web host. Don't buy don't install your WordPress websites on a hosting provider only because they are cheap or only because the guy is living next door or anything. Don't do it. Go for reputed companies like Namecheap, GoDaddy, HostGator, and the chances are that they always have their servers secured, and they always patch up the OS, and they always keep the OS up to date with the latest patches, and they will patch up security holes. The thing is, for cheap hosting providers, they won't do all these cleanup work, they won't do this maintenance work, so your site will also be always be vulnerable to the hackers. So always go for reputed web host. When you are paying a premium price, trust me, there is always something you are getting back. So just don't always go for cheap, especially when you are having sites like e-commerce website. Please don't go for the cheap hosting, always go for the reputed servers. Last but not least, I want to give some few more hints before wrapping up this lesson. First thing, when you are first installing WordPress, or if the WordPress is installed to you by some freelancer, the possibility that the first user account created would be admin or administrator. I mean, the username would be admin or administrator. The first thing you need to do now is go back and create a new user, give it a username, your name as a username or some other name as a username, and remove this account admin or administrators, because this is one of the basic technique used by the hackers. What they're going to do is, usually it's hard to guess what would be the administrator username. So what they would do is they will simply put admin or administrator and try some combination of passwords. Because most of the sites even today have admin or administrator as the username. So if you have a user with the admin or administrator as the username, just get rid of it and create some other user account with admin privileges, of course. And if you are technically sound, just go ahead and create your own plugins. Don't trust on third-party plugins, especially that you download outside the WordPress plugin marketplace. So there is always a trust, there's always an issue that can come inside to your site with these plugins. They can simply steal data from your site, or they can give access to some third parties into your website. So whenever you are installing plugins, you need to be very careful, and if possible, and if you're technically sound, I know most of us are not that sound, possible you do your plugins for yourself. And in this course, we actually installed a flexible SSL HTTPS certificate, but if possible, always go for full SSL HTTPS certificate. There is a free service offered by Let's Encrypt. You can find more about it on the site let'sencrypt.org. They are free SSL certificate issuers, so you can have a SSL certificate for free and have a full SSL implemented on your site. But technically it's going to be very tough. That you need to be familiar with Linux commands and stuff. To if you don't like those stuff, you can actually go for the two hosts that I mentioned here, SiteGround and DreamHost. They offer free integration with this Let's Encrypt SSL HTTPS certificate. So that is fully encrypted from user to server, and you can use it in your e-commerce website. This flexible SSL I wouldn't recommend for you to use with your e-commerce website, as the data that is transferred between the Cloudflare server and the server is not secured. So we don't want that loophole. We should always have the upper hand. We should always have the data secured end to end. So I would suggest you try one of these sites, or else you can, if you have the money and if you are willing to pay, just buy a third-party SSL certificate and give it to your hosting company. They will implement it for you. Most probably you will have to create a support ticket and you need to give them the certificates and they will install it for you. So that is about SSL and HTTPS certificates. Finally, always backup your site. There are some automated services. I like WordPress. It's part of the Jetpack. Again, it's developed by the Automatic, the same guys who developed WordPress, so you can simply trust them. But the thing is, it's not a free service. You need to pay for it. So that's, some people might not be willing to pay because they might be not making enough money to pay, commit this that much of amount for a backup service. But if possible and if you can, just go for this WordPress. They will back up your whole site, and if something goes wrong with your site, or if somebody comes and messes up your website, you can always pull up that backup and restore it. There are again third-party plugins that is you can use for free, where you can back up your database, your site and everything, and you can put it in Dropbox or anything, something like that. So that's again your homework. Just go ahead and search it in online and see what are the other options that you can use to back up your WordPress site. So that is it all, ladies and gentlemen, for this lesson. I hope you really like this course. If you really liked it, please leave me with a 5-star rating. The 5-star rating will help me to reach more students. More students means I will add more content to this course. So thank you very much. See you back in the final lesson. Bye for now. Hello and welcome back. In the previous lesson, we looked at some of the things that you can do to take preventive measures. So in this lesson, we gonna see one of the things we talked in the previous lesson and how to do it practically. So let's come back to our website, and if you didn't already, just go to your website /wp-admin and log into your website and go to your dashboard. Now what we're gonna check is the available users, the currently existing users in this WordPress website. So in order to check that, go to users and click on all users. Now you see I have 2 users here. One is admin and second one is my personal user account. So this is the thing that you need to look at here. This is the admin user that was created initially, and you don't want it anymore, because as we talked previously, when hackers are trying to log into your website, they're going to use the admin or administrator as the username, because most of the people are very lazy or very ignorant to use this username in their website for administrative purposes. So we gonna get rid of it. So we can simply click on delete and delete that user. But the problem is, if you already have only single administrative user, you won't be able to delete that. In that case, you're gonna go here under users, click add new and create a new administrative user. For the username, I suggest you use something random like this, RYDHTJDJ, something like that, and give it your website, sorry, the email, and you can give a first name and last name. You don't have to give the website, it's not mandatory. And for password, you can leave WordPress to create a password for you, or you can create your own password. But the problem is, as I said previously, you need to set a password that is very difficult to break. So I have a wonderful website here, howsecureismypassword.net. howsecureismypassword.net. You can simply type your password and check how secure is it and how long it would take for a typical machine to break it. So let's try ABC. It says 400 nanoseconds. That easy. ABC at 123, it's going to take only just 22 seconds. Then type something more complex, and you see it's going to take 638,000 years. So I suggest you go to this howsecuremypassword.net and try your password and see how difficult it is to break this password using computer algorithms. So I'm going to leave this password as it is because it's very secure. and the role I'm going to change it to not editor, administrator, because editor can only post and do stuff like editor would do, like post new blog post or update pages, those kind of things. But administrator will be able to do administrative work like updating themes, installing plugin, uninstalling plugins, those kind of administrative stuff. So another thing I want to talk at this moment is the password. So you see this password is very complex. Just copy this and go here and see. This would take 1 octillion years. That is, I don't know, human race would exist by then or not. So that is 1 octillion years it would take to break this password. And if you can't remember this kind of lengthy, complex passwords, obviously we can't remember these passwords. What you can do is you can use third-party services like LastPass or RoboForms. So I'll link up these websites in the lesson view, so you can go and look up on this website and see which one suits you best if you are planning to use one of these services. So we can add our administrative user now, and you see our administrative user is actually shown here. So congratulations, now you can get rid of this user by clicking the delete button here. Confirm deletion. Yes, I want to delete the guy. Gone. Now the thing is, you think the administrator or the admin user is removed, hackers won't be able to see the administrative user in your website. But that's not exactly true. Now, what a hacker can do is they can come to your website and put a slash, a question mark, author equal to 1, and it's going to show all the pages, all the posts that are already written by this specific user, and here it shows the username. Boom. So now we are back in problem. So this is a feature actually in WordPress where it shows you can group all the blog posts written by a specific author, but it can also be misused by hackers to identify the username of the person who have written. Possibly he is if he is administrative user, then he can use that administrative username to exploit into your site. So how do we hide this site, the page? You can, if you don't mind, you can leave it as it is, but if you think this is unnecessary and you don't want to show the username to other people, you can simply hide it. So how do we do that? So in order to do that, come back to our dashboard, and I want you to install a plugin. Click on add new, come to plugins and click on add new, and I want you to search code snippet and install the first plugin. I already have installed it here, so that's why it's here. So install it, so it will come here. Now once it's come here, click on add new. Now I'm going to give it a name, author page redirection, and you need to put a snippet here. So basically you can do the same thing by updating function.php, but I would highly recommend against it, because if you mess up your function.php site, your whole site will go down, and that would create a chaos, and you won't be able to bring it up, especially if you are a novice user or a beginner with little or no technical knowledge. That's going to give you lots of trouble. So this is the most easiest, safest way to do this thing. So next thing is I'm going to paste a code snippet here. Don't worry, I'll put up this code snippet in the lesson so you can use them. Paste it here and click Save Changes and Activate. Now we are in our home page. Now I'm going to try the same thing again. And when we do, you see we are redirected back to the home page. Now the hacker won't be able to identify the username. Woohoo! Good for us. There is one more thing. Just sign out now. Now I'm going to type a wrong password, and I'm going to give it a value for the captcha, and I'm going to log in. When I try to log in, it shows the error message. Your password you entered for the username Mayuresan is incorrect. Boom! Now the hacker knows Mayuresan is a username, and if he has so now they can, what they can do is, now he has the username, so he can try with different password combination. Or for an example, let's say I type a wrong username and I'll put some wrong password, and it says invalid username. So WordPress is giving out everything. It says invalid username, invalid password. So until he gets a wrong password error message here, he can keep on trying different usernames. Now that is not good for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suppress all these error messages. So let's go back to our website, log into our website and go to the dashboard. And I'm going to add a new snippet again and give it a name, hide login hints, and I'm going to paste another snippet here. Click change and activate. Now log out again. Let's give it a wrong password and try to log in. Now you see the error messages are gone. Good for us. So these are some of the tricks that you can use so that the hackers won't be able to guess the administrator's username. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, you know what to do. Give me a 5-star. So that is it all for this lesson, and I'll see you back in another lesson. Bye for now. Hello and welcome back. In this section, we're going to look at how to safeguard your config file. Config file basically is the configuration file of your WordPress website. It holds all the key information, such as what is the database it's connecting to, what is the username of the database, what is the password, and the salt keys, and everything is mentioned there. So we're going to look at how to protect it. In order to check the status of it, I suggest you open your control panel and click on File Manager. Different hosting providers might give you different interfaces, but at the end of the day it's going to be the same. So we're gonna come here and select public HTML, and then I'm going to select my website, myonline.com, and come here and look for the file wp-config.php. Before making any changes, come to the right side, the last column, check the number here. It should be below 750. If it is 700 and more than 750, or if it is 0777, just double click on there and change it to 750. If you give 777, it's like you locked all your whole house and you went out on a picnic, but you forgot to lock one of your window and you left it wide open. If it is 777, hackers can easily gain access to this configuration file, so they can see what is the database you are connecting to, what is the username, password, and they can simply insert so many unnecessary stuff into your website. So we don't want that to happen, right? So we're going to change this permission down to 750. If it is already below 750, you can leave it as it is. You don't want to mess up with the permissions, sometimes because it will break your site and you may not be able to access the website. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to update the salt keys. So before doing any changes, select WP config here and download a copy of it, because if anything goes wrong, we're gonna be able to come and replace it back to the old version. And now we're gonna have to go to a website, api.wordpress.org/secret-key/1.1/salt. So I will link up this site, or the link in the resources, so you can also go and generate this salt key. Now come back here and click on edit. Now it will open a new window, and you can see there are 1 2 3 4 8 keys listed here. So basically these keys are the one that has to do with everything to do with cookies and stuff and managing sessions and everything. So if hackers knows these keys, they can easily use it to manipulate the session and get into your website. Once again, we don't want that to happen. So if you're using a very old WordPress, or if you installed the WordPress very long time ago, probably you would have a 4 or 5 keys here. So if that is the case, we necessarily have to update the keys right now. Even if you have 8 keys, it doesn't matter. It's always better to update the salt keys. So come here to this website. Every time you refresh, it will generate new keys. So just copy them, copy all these keys, come back here and replace it here, and click on Save Changes. Success. Now close it. Now come back to our site, refresh it. Everything works just fine, nothing to worry. Let's log into our site and see. Boom, no issues. So that is how you take care and protect your configuration file. It is very, very important you keep the details in configuration file secure and secret. Don't give it away to anybody. If they have the details in this configuration file, they can simply hack your website. They don't have to go through any of the difficult stuff. So that is it all for this lesson, and I'll see you back in another lesson. Bye for now. Hello and welcome back. So far in all the lessons, we've been focusing on how to secure your WordPress website on the server's end, but it also should be done your client side, that is your PC or the Mac. I highly suggest you use one of these antivirus softwares that is out there in the market. So it will make sure that none of the malwares or the virus would creep into your system, and they will spy on all the data that is you are using in your computer. For an example, if you have a password stored in your browser, they can access them. And for other example, when you are typing username and password, they can use some keyloggers and get all those information and send it to somewhere else. So it's very important that you use an antivirus software and keep it always updated to see that your computer is not compromised. So I highly recommend Norton by Symantec. I like their software. Especially you should go for the internet security. So that way they will make sure your firewall is secured and all of the stuff are configured so the hackers won't be able to access the information in your PC, which can be later used to exploit the websites that you are managing. So most of the time these viruses will creep into your system through pirated softwares or some unnecessary websites. So you should never install pirated software. Reason number one, it's illegal, and reason number two, they mostly would carry all these Trojan horses along with them. So we call it Trojan because similar to the Trojan horse that you heard in the story of Troy, they will come and sit in your computer and they would look like a software, but behind the screen they would be doing all these malicious stuff, and they will be collecting information from your computer and sending it to the hacker who have initially developed it. And when you're downloading softwares, always download it from a reputed source. For an example, if you are installing Adobe Photoshop, download it from the Adobe website, don't download it from other site. So if you are installing a Microsoft Word, get it from Microsoft official website, don't download it from some third-party websites. There is no need for that. And if you ever believe that your system is compromised and you have reason to believe that some funky malwares ads are showing up in your browsers, you couldn't get rid of them, or when you see that your computer is behaving in a peculiar way and some command from Windows are popping up and doing some malicious stuff, and if you have the doubt, I highly suggest you get a professional advice immediately and get your computer checked and cleaned, because we don't want our personal information leaked into the world of internet and be used by some other unnecessary parties. So that is it all for this lesson. So I hope you will make sure that your PC is always secured and there is no way hackers are going to access your PC and extract information from your PC or Mac and use it to hack into your website. So that is it all for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now. Take care. Hello and welcome back to another exciting lesson. So in this lesson, we actually going to talk about what to do if your website is actually compromised. What are the next steps you could take? So there are some signs you can see if your website is compromised. You would notice that the traffic from the search engines have gone down drastically, and when you are trying to search for your site, the Google may be giving a warning saying this site might be hacked. And sometimes the antivirus software or the internet security software that you have installed on your on your personal computer might flag your website and give it a pop-up and say, don't visit this website, it has malicious softwares installed. So if those things are happening, then now we have come to the doomsday. Your site is compromised. So if your site is compromised, there are a couple of steps you need to take immediately. The first thing is reset all your administrator's password. There is no need to wait. You can go to users, all users, and you can edit and you can set a new password for your, you can click here generate new password and generate a new password for your user account, and do that for all the administrator accounts. First thing first, you need to make sure the hacker won't be able to access your website via the password. The second thing is make sure you change all your salt keys. We already talked about how to change the salt keys. So if you don't remember it, just go back to the lesson where we talk about securing your config file and change all the keys immediately. The third thing is scan your PC or Mac with the virus software or internet security software, because the loophole may have been originated from your PC, so you don't want that to exist anymore. You want to fix it. So scan it with a antivirus software and see whether there are any issues that you can fix immediately. If you find any issues, fix them immediately if you can. If not, approach a professional and get it done. Another thing is, since we have already installed HTTPS certificate using Cloudflare, we can bring in Cloudflare for help. We can come to Cloudflare and in the top, enable I'm under attack mode. So this way the Cloudflare will check on the users, those who are visiting your website. They will delay their time before letting them entering into your site, and it will take some preventive measures. So that's adds another layer of security to your website. The next thing is go to your file manager in your hosting account and check whether any of the config file is updated or the htaccess file is updated. If it was updated, please contact your hosting provider and ask them to reset it. They would probably be able to help you out. And if you have the backups using third-party services like Backup Buddy, Updraft, or WordPress, restore them. Make sure you take the version that was available in their backup systems, the version that is before the attack was originated. So there's no point in deploying a version that is with the malware. So you need to go for a version that was initially backed up to one of these systems, so you can bring it up and deploy it again into your system. And if your site is compromised, you can again go to Google and check it. So one of the sites you can use is transparencyreport.com/safe browsing search $URL and type your domain's name. And if you type that domain name, it will say no unsafe content found. If there are any malicious software, it will say the details about it, so you can work towards fixing that. And another thing is, I highly recommend you go to Google Webmasters and add your website. And once you add your website and come to security issues, it's going to show if there are any security issues that you need to check. It will also show all the affected URLs and stuff. So you can, work on fixing that. So everything is okay, but if you don't know how to go to the next step, you can always ask help from your hosting provider. They might have a backup, so they would be able to help you restore it. Especially if you're using a shared hosting, they would be careful about other accounts in the server as well, so they would be most probably willing to help. If not, you can go for a third party security service providers like Sukri, and they would be able to help you out. They might cost you a bit, but come on, getting your site back is more important than money, right? And the third option would be to go for freelancers or the professionals. You can probably find a good number of WordPress security experts in Upwork.com. So you can simply ask them for a help, and they will be able to fix it for you. So these are some of the things that you can do if your site is compromised. Uh, don't be panicked. You can get it done. And once all these issues are fixed, Google will forgive you and take you back into their search engine rankings, and they will start again to index all your web pages. So don't worry, get it fixed, and you can get it back into Google, and you can drive all your search engine optimized traffic into your website once again. But what is more important is keeping up vigilantly and looking out for any issues that might occur in your website, so you don't have to go through all this trouble. And also make sure you take all the preventive measures that we have talked in these lessons. So that is it all for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. So bye for now. Take care.